With a vision for the world to be in harmony and peace, the planet and humans heal and grow together in love for self and each other. I welcome Jo Anne Irwin from Northern New South Wales to share embracing all of you, to love and care for all parts of you on this human journey. Welcome to Awaken and Ascend. I am Jennifer Regular, the host, and love that I get to bring spiritual change makers from all around the world to share their wisdom with you, to become a fuller expression of who you are so that you can create greater impact and more fulfillment in your life. Today's changemaker, Jo Anne, is an emotional and energetic empowerment coach, the creator of Empower You and Finding You Time programs and Manifestation Mastermind membership programs. That's a lot, Jo. She's the co-author in the book series A Journey in Riches, The Gift and Challenges, and a speaker, a lifelong learner of many modalities. She is a master practitioner of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and hypnosis, results coaching for personal and business, and regression therapy. Jo has been in the health and nutrition, wellness, and spiritual world for over 38 years and has been coaching for about 35 of those. Welcome, Jo Anne. I am so looking forward to everything that you have to share with us about our lifelong healing journey. You're certainly qualified to do that after everything I just read, and how everything happens to us for a higher purpose. I truly believe that too, but I'm curious where on your path that you discovered that.
Oh, yes. Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. Well, actually, it started many years ago, but the particular event that really grounded this into me is when I was pregnant with my fourth child, and I'd been through a previous relationship and had two children, and then married my second partner, and we had two boys. And through that second pregnancy, I was 6 months pregnant when he decided that he didn't love me anymore, basically. And, you know, this to me was the love of my life, and it threw me into a total spin and really left me in a situation that, you know, I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't expecting. So it was a total shock. And I feel like that sort of put me on the trajectory of finding, you know, reasons why this had happened. And at the same time, I fell into a very deep depression, and I was beating myself up. I was taking, you know, all the blame, all the shame, everything that we do when things, you know, turn out not the way that we think they are going to turn out. So that was my first real searching for truth, I guess, truth about what my purpose was, and why I was here on the planet, right? What was this situation trying to show me, you know? And that took me down a path of spirituality. And in fact, that was 34 years ago. But before that, I'd actually been already involved in a little bit of, you know, this, a little bit of that. I'd been dabbling in nutrition and health and wellness since I had my first child when, you know, for 15 years. But this was a whole new level of really, it's almost like it happened to me for something that I didn't know what. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really understand why. But the biggest thing was that I already had some sort of support structure in place. And that's when I went on that journey of really searching and healing parts of myself that hadn't actually been exposed in the past. So what I'm saying here is that, you know, things happen to us for a purpose, for a reason. Sometimes we don't have to know why, but it's almost like we need to find a way through it, like navigate through it. And most people I know, well, a lot of people I know, not most, a lot of people I know find it through things that aren't so conducive for them to recover. They fall into that space, and I did for some time. I did for about 6 months, 7 months, until I found what I needed for me. And that was community. Community. And community got me through, because I was already on my path of what I was looking for, in a sense. I'd been meditating. I went to an ashram once a week, so I had these support structures in place, but still I had no idea why I was feeling the way I was feeling in that space. So I felt very, very fortunate in a way that I was supported and held in a place of such beautiful spiritual connections. And that was when I first noticed, well, there's obviously a reason that I'm going through this. I've been put in this situation to really understand myself more. And it was through that community and that space that was held for me that I was able to do that. So the journey started 34 years ago in that sense, even though I've been in the spiritual and health and wellness environment for like a lot longer. We don't really know till we really know, right? We don't really, like, I was there, but I wasn't fully embracing all the parts of me that I needed to find in order to move on and forward in this journey. So yeah, and I guess in a sense that's the part that we're always healing, right? We're always on a journey of finding who we are through the adversities that we face. And now when I wrote in the book, The Gifting Challenges, it was truly a gift. Okay? It was, I did the hard yards. It was tough bringing up 4 children on my own, but it was a gift in the sense that it made me look, made me search, it made me, find who I truly was and what I was capable of. The strength in that was magnificent. And the process was, it was challenging, but when I was truly open to receive the information, the support, then doors opened for me. Like, I was able to find a way to provide for them. I was able to be at home with my children. I was able to provide for them. And all the fears that I had when I went into that deep, dark place of how am I going to do this? Felt like it was not easy, but it felt like it was doable. I could keep going, because the more I trusted in the process and the things that were coming to me through that, looking for answers, how am I going to do, right? And actually asking the right questions, like, how am I going to do this? Like, instead of the other way. And I think that came through just the environment that I was in. And I was able to do that just through and trusting that. And I believe, I was connected in some way. I didn't know, like, back then what I was connected to, or how I was being supported by the energy, right? But I know I was. And I had an experience. I could probably tell you a few stories. This experience when a year later, when I'd had my 4th child, and I'd been doing it on my own, and my mum was around, and she was amazing. She lived a couple of hours away, and she used to come down and support me wherever she could. And almost a year after he was born, she'd been struggling with her own health challenges. And almost a year after he was born, she had passed away. And, you know, that was like this second, I was absolutely, it was unexpected. She actually passed away in the back of an ambulance on the way to hospital. So it was so out of the blue. She was ill, but she wasn't like, it wasn't expected. So that was just like this other blow, right? It's like, my world just crumbled when that happened. And I think, yeah, that's, you know, and that again just made me even more determined to help people not to let their mothers pass that way, not to let their mothers, you know, suffer the way that my mum did. And I knew her history was very, very long in how she had suffered. So I knew that, you know, what had happened to her was a result of the stress that she had carried for many, many, many years. And this goes into the, you know, the ancestry, the healing as well, right? Because we get that, we carry that too.
Yes.
And it just at that moment, it's like, wow. But it actually pushed me even harder to do what I do, help people. And at the time, I'd found a business that I was working at home in the health and nutrition world, which was what I loved, you know, nutrition and health and wellness was my thing. So I couldn't have been more blessed to have landed that gift, and worked around the children when they went to school. It was, and it still is in my world now, 38 years later. So it's, 35 years later. So that itself was a blessing. And I believe the story I wanted to tell you, if I get off tangent, was at that time, I also went through homelessness, like with the children. At that, after Mum had passed, things sort of started to fall off the wheels started falling off the wagon, and my daughters went to live with their father for a couple of months, and my sons and I went and found a room at a friend of a friend's place in the city, one room where we slept while I was looking for new housing. So no, I wasn't on the street, but it was such a really, you know, I guess rocky time for us, because I was like, didn't know where we were going to land. We ended up landing up on the Central Coast, an hour and a half away from Sydney, and I took a 1-bedroom house so that we could all just be back together. But just before that had happened, I went up to my father's house, who lived up in that area, an hour and a half away. And I went to visit the priest at the church Mum worked at before she passed. And in the hope that I could get the children into the school that he had to go through the parish priest to get into the Catholic system. It was all a bit, but it was out of desperation, because I wanted to have the children in a central place, so that when we got a house, it was easy to access the school. So it was all this, you know, strategic planning. And I thought, well, this is brilliant, because he will definitely, you know, allow my children then. And there was only 2 that were ready to start, that were already in school. Anyway, he blatantly sat in front of me and said, you know, asked these questions about God and the church and how often I practice and go to church. And I wasn't a practicing Catholic. I have my own spiritual beliefs, but I wasn't actually practicing. And because of that, he said, well, how do you think, what do you think, you know, gives you the right to come to this school? And I was just absolutely floored, because I didn't feel like that was the sort of system that, you know, my mum had been working for free for so long. You know, I was like, wow, you know, it really rattled me. Went back home. I went back to my dad's, and we slept on his floor. He was in a 1-bedroom bed set with my 2 babies. I slept on the floor. One was 3 and one was 1. And that night, I could hear this, you know, the old phones, the old-fashioned phones.
Yes.
Yeah, I could hear this rattling, and I'm thinking, Dad, can you stop rattling the phone? And I finally sat up. I sat up, and I looked, and I was wiping my eyes, with my mum. Can you believe, just sitting there going, everything's going to be okay. It was like, oh, I cannot believe, no one's going to believe this, right? No one will believe this. And it didn't matter, because I had, it was a message from me. And my sons were there, the one that, you know, the two beautiful boys were there, her grandsons, and she's like, on, like, just behind on the walker, it's okay, everything's going to be okay. And then the next week is when I found the house, and that just reinforced, you know, my belief in spirit and being guided and supported, you know.
Yeah.
And that stayed with me to this day. It was absolutely beautiful.
Wow,
And
that truly is.
yeah, it was really amazing. So everything worked out, and everything did work out. And it's having that faith, that trust, you know, that, and that belief. And I had a drive too. I still had that mission to help people, you know, always help people, to never be in that situation. So yeah, that was really powerful. And this is the thing, you know, we just have to believe, we have to trust that everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And if everything is temporary, you know, that was temporary. My depression was temporary. But, you know, it's part of finding you. It's part of deeply connecting with that part. There's parts of us that we don't know. And there's parts of us that we hide or we push down. And that can come out through, you know, the emotions that we have and the reactions that we have. And the work that I do now is so much deeply involved in working with those parts of us that we can really hold now, because we couldn't hold them when we were children or when we were young, or until we realize that we're, you know, that they're there, right? So I guess my mission in a way is to share with people that there are those parts that have been unheld, that have been unseen, that have been unheard, and it's time to acknowledge them. It's time to feel them. It's time to hold them. It's time to tell them what you want them to hear, what you really want to say. And in that, it's healing in itself, right? So when we're having I couldn't understand why I was so angry. You know, there was a time when I was just so angry. I'm like, why am I so angry? I'm a spiritual being, right? Why am I so, you know, I'm not meant to be. And we go, well, no, we can't be that. And we push them down. But it was when I learned that, you know, I was angry because of what happened at certain periods in my life. I was angry at, you know, the traumas that I later found out that happened, you know, because sometimes they're so buried unconscious, we can't even see them until we take the time to do the work, to really go deep into that part of us that we can sit with and find what's going on. And I allow myself then, when I realize, like, yeah, well, I've got something to be damn angry about, right? And I'm gonna release it in a way that's going to, you know, serve me in a safe way, that's going to serve me, a gentle and kind way, and holding that little girl that's so angry inside, that wants to just react at every, you know, thing that doesn't go her way. Right. And this is powerful when you can learn to sit with those parts. Yeah, and we have many, right? There's many. And embrace them, hold them, feel them, love them, bring them in your heart, and just totally understand them. I think that's true healing, you know, because in that space you can release. Yeah, it might take a while. Sometimes, you know, we need to revisit and sit with them daily. Sometimes, you know, it can take months. You know, it depends on how deeply wounded and hurt they are. And this is the work now that I tend to focus on. It's evolved, but I think it's very powerful when we work with those parts of ourselves that are in pain, that are traumatized, and heal them from a place of just being and holding. And you can't do that till you relax, right? So that comes back to, you know, making the time to really, or taking the time and space. And often this process that I'm talking about is very difficult to do on your own. It's really it really needs holding, needs safety, needs space. So I definitely wouldn't, you know, recommend anyone, if there's some trauma or deep wounding there, to just seek help. Get somebody that you feel you can trust, that you can be with, that you feel safe with, and allow yourself to have it facilitated so that you can release and learn the ways that the effective ways to let go and heal. So yeah, it's been a long life learning for me. Different modalities. I've done NLP. That was my first part of my healing, was the NLP. Hypnosis. Did some hypnosis. I used a little bit of everything in my practice. Tapping, you know. These are really great things for when you're in the moment, to calm down the nervous system. But I truly believe that you really need to get to the source to fully heal. And that takes facilitation, that takes holding, seeking help. Because we're all wounded, right? We're all, in a sense, you know, it doesn't have to be huge, but we all grew up in different environments and different ways of doing things, and different places and cultures and religions and all the stuff. And you know, it's been programmed from a very young age that, you know, that's the way it is. I'm a bit of a rebel. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all about finding ourselves, right?
Finding yourself. And it's so important also, like you said, to have a witness on the journey, to have someone facilitate that healing process with us and allow us to process by holding the space and being fully present is such a gift to be able to give someone, so that they can really go into the depths of their being. You know, all the stuff that you say have been hidden down, and how far are we willing to go down into the depths to pull that out by the roots, and to look at it and to love it and to accept it, and in that love be able to neutralize it, and then come into that place of peace and harmony within, when we can harmonize that instead of fighting against it or bypassing it or pushing it away in some way, or being afraid of it. You know, being with someone that can support us in that can give us a sense of safety, as you mentioned. And it was such a beautiful share that you gave us all that wisdom and shared your journey with us. There's so much beauty in that. And I felt like it was just a sea of life, and in that sea going into the depths. But I also noticed all of the seas that came up, like connection and community and courage and curiosity, and being able to create conscious connection, you know, with your spiritual beliefs and with yourself, and being able to embrace all of that and building your capabilities, learning what you're actually capable of as you learn yourself and go through adversity, understanding, you know, just what you can actually handle, you know, when you're in it, and then go through it and then overcome it, and then really cultivate that inner power and that resilience and the strength to be able to build your capacity, which is another C, to hold it all, right? To hold yourself and to come into a place of wholeness, which is really what healing is about. And there's so many different pathways to that, as you suggested, and in what you learned and all the different modalities. And now bringing that all together, going through that rite of passage, those
Mm,
initiations for all of us to be able to also partake in this healing journey. And so I'm so grateful that you were able to find your way out of the depression and wondering, the marriage ending in a way that, we never expect marriage to end at all. Like we think
mm,
it's
mm,
forever,
mm,
right? And then
mm,
grieving those shattered dreams and grieving the life that we thought that we would have and the people that we would always be around forever. And then going through that loss and really coming to a place of acceptance in why that was brought into our life, into our healing journey, and
mm,
creating more awareness about the deeper meaning in all of that,
mm,
which you had suggested in the beginning there too. And I think that's such a beautiful thing when we can really have the courage to go into the depths of our being and really get to know ourselves and love ourselves. And being in that state of love can just neutralize anything else because it's such a high vibration that it would
mm, mm,
transmute anything lower than that. And so sometimes the hardest thing is to be able to love ourselves as well, would you
mhm.
say? Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the greatest and the highest vibration of all, isn't it? Love,
Mm.
pure love. And when we can, yeah, love and above, when we can be in that space, that vibration of love and peace and freedom and joy,
Yes.
is the ultimate, and that's what I've been striving for. And I don't know whether I'll ever get there, but by doing the work and striving for that, it's a much more pleasant journey.
Mm.
Absolutely more pleasant. Yeah, there might be some really low moments and things that still need to heal, but I'm so much more aware now and open to it. It can, it's almost like, there you are. Okay, now I understand you. You can move on so much sooner. And I think that with us, Jennifer, we have been through the hard yards. We understand, and we can help people process and move through it sooner than what we did, because we've gone before them and done all the things to be able to support them in moving through that.
And speed
I
up
love the word
recovery.
you speed the
Speed up the
recovery.
recovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, get to love sooner.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
gratitude, like you say, being grateful even for the
Mm,
adversities and the hardships because of the gifts that they brought and the greater awareness and the more conscious connection that we have to a higher power beyond
mhm,
all of that drama and trauma. And I love
mhm,
how you talk too about, we all want to be seen and heard and understood, but how much do we direct that to ourselves, to see
yeah.
ourselves, and to hear ourselves and really understand ourselves as well. And I love
Exactly.
that you bring that into your work. And so I'd love to bring other people into your work. So do
Mhm.
share how people can connect with you.
Well, can connect with me on my website, which is Weight Free Mind, simple, and also through my Facebook group and Conquer Your Overwhelm. And I can share the links with you too. But also, I'm a part of the beautiful Sacred You community, and I offer a lot of my services there for a very, very minimum price. So if you haven't heard of Sacred Community, that's a beautiful place where you can access a lot of different modalities and different therapists and practitioners and healers and all the woo-woo stuff, but also the practical stuff, all the healing. It's a beautiful space to connect with me too, because I run a tribe there called Empowering You to Live Your Best Life. So you can join that as well. But if you want to do the really deep work, I would recommend reach out to me personally, and I can certainly have a conversation and see where you're at, and work with you that way as well. So many ways. Yeah, it's beautiful work we do, all of us. And we're all in this together. We're all on the path, to live our best life, to live a life of purpose. and power and empowered life. So yeah, I love, you know, even just to join a community where you can get support is my mission, to get as many people, you know, healed. Because when we heal, and that's the other thing, when we heal, we're actually the ripple effect of that, you know, your family, you know, things change in your family, your partnerships, your community, when you're in a place of peace. You can have that ripple effect and you know, support so many more people. And I want this to go out to the world. Okay, the world needs healing, and if we can each do our part by healing us, you're actually playing a big part in healing the world, because we're all energy. I work with frequency as well, so we're all energy, and this is the powerful part about it. We need more people. 1 million women, I say.
1 million
1
women.
million. There is a movement of 1 million women for the planet, but yeah, it's just, yeah, having that, getting to the capacity where you can actually give from your cup that's already full. I know that's a cliche, it is, but it's, you know, it's a great one, because we cannot affect anybody till we have truly, you know, honored ourselves first. And yeah, that's my mission.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jo Anne. I absolutely loved everything you shared and how dedicated you are to your mission. And so I'm more than happy to give those links in the show notes for any of you that have been tuning in. Those are available for you just in the video description. You can click into that and see more of Jo Anne's work and how you can get involved. And also that community, sacredyou.love, and all the offerings there. But even just tapping in to the community is such a beautiful thing, to feel connected. It's a place where you can feel you belong as well. And of course, keep coming back here every week. And I'll also include my soul care guide, Finding Solace in Everyday Life, because I think it would also help support everything that we talked here about, that you can kind of go through and start integrating some soulful practices into your life and start nurturing yourself and loving yourself even just a little bit more. So, Jo, it's been so wonderful having you here. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. We'll see you again next time on Awaken and Ascend.